are used in the operations research, but in your syllabus you have only some techniques. So all the techniques that you have in your syllabus we will discuss in detail, and the syllabus and the techniques that is in not your syllabus, so we will go through the outline of those techniques. Okay, so let us start the first technique. The first technique is linear programming, and I think according to your syllabus this is the most important technique of the complete operations research. Okay, and linear programming is one of the classical operations research technique. It had its early use for military applications, but presently it is employed widely for business problems. I have also told you in the previous when I was telling about the introduction and history of the operations research. So I told you that how linear programming was helpful for war. Okay, when the UK army was involved in the Second World War. So how this linear programming was helpful for those military army. Okay, so except these military applications, it have also more application that we have already discussed in the previous topic, that was scope of operations research, means in the different field, in refinery, production, distribution, agriculture, works like blending fertilizer, selecting the right crop to be planted. I have given the example for the agriculture in yesterday's topic also. Okay, in army such as bombers placement, troops deployment, and in the finance, personnel, and advertising. So we have discussed all the examples and scope of these techniques in the yesterday's lecture. Now, linear programming is powerful mathematical technique for finding the best use of limited resources of a concern. Limited resources means always you have limited resources, means you don't have any resource unlimited, so you have to utilize your resources optimally. You have to use your resources optimally, that wise you can maximize your benefits and you can maximize your cost or time. So using these techniques, you can get the optimal solution. You can get the optimal solution using this. So let us see what involves in the linear programming. Uh, you have to more focus on this topic, because after that you have to go through the linear programming in the second topic, second unit. Okay, so I will not tell again in the second introduction of the linear programming when I will start the second unit. So let us first understand what is the linear programming. The objectives can be stated mathematically. The objectives are means when you have problem, then you have to solve that problem. So to achieve your organizational objective, suppose that you are running a firm and you have to sell the product. So you have two products. Suppose that X1 and X2. Okay, price for the first product is rupees 5 and price for the second product is 7. Now you have to maximize your profit after selling these products. So to maximize the profit, how much unit of product X1 and how much unit of product X2 you have to sold. So this is your objective. Means what is your objective? Your objective is to maximize the profit by selling your product. Okay. So what quantity should be sold to the gain maximum profit? So let us see how we will define this statement in mathematically. Let us see max z, max z, where z is your objective function. Z is your objective function, means it denotes your maximum profit. So z equal to, and how will you maximize this profit? By selling x1 and x2, by selling x1 and x2. And what are the prices? Let us see. The prices are 5 and 7 for product X1 and X2 respectively. So means 5 X1 plus 7x2, 7x2. Now, if you will have the quantities that you have to sold, it means if you have the units of your product that you have to sold, then you can get the maximum profit. Now you have to find the combination of x1 and x2, means how much unit you have to sold for the product x1 and how much unit you have to sold for the product x2. Okay, so you have defined your objective mathematically in this form, means max z equal to 5x1 plus 7x2. This is the first condition. Now, resources can be measured as quantities, either number or weight, etc. Resources means all the resources that you have to measure in numbers or quantity. Okay, numbers weight means you have to represent your measure in numbers, such as if you have soaps, you have soaps, you have to sold the soaps, then how much soap you have to sold. So means here the x1 and x2, the x1 and x2 will represent the numbers, x1 and x2 will represent the number. Okay, now again let us see, there are too many alternate solutions to be evaluated conventionally. Actually, the operations research technique are not qualitative based analysis. The operations research techniques are not qualitative based uh, techniques. Actually, these are quantitative based. As I told you in the characteristics of the operations research, the techniques or operations research based in quantitative data. So you have to measure all the alternative solution in, you have to measure all the resources in quantity. Okay, and you have to also evaluate it alternative solution, means always you have some course of action in which you have to select the best course of action, you have to select the best alternative, either by trial or error method or by solving the problem using some techniques. Okay, so you have to many alternatives. Suppose that you have to go to purchase the laptop. Okay, so which laptop you have to purchase, you always have some alternative, means you can purchase either Lenovo laptop, you can purchase either HP laptop, or you can purchase either Dell laptop. So there are three alternative solution, three alternative course of action, and out of these three alternative you have to select best one. So you will use your mind to select the best options. Okay, so the decision made by the decision maker is based on the, not only based on the solution that you have found from the technique, also you have to use your own mind. Okay, because the solution that you will find by using the technique is only a number and does not represent the qualitative information. So you have to use, or you have to use your own mind to dictate the solution. Next, the variables of the problem bear a linear straight line. Linear straight lines means if you have two variables, if you have two variables, suppose that x and y. Now the value of x1 is 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5, 6. Okay, these are the value of x, and now the value of y is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12. Now if you are changing one unit in the x, if you are changing one unit in the x, let us first draw the graph first. Okay, draw the graph first. So we are plotting a graph for given information. So let us see what will be it. There are two lines. Let us see, the blue line is for your x variable and red line for your y variable. Now I am changing the values of x and y, x and y. So let us see what are the changes. 2, 3, I am doubling. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Okay. So let us see. The line has been merged with your y-axis. Now, I am changing the values of y, means I have doubled the value of x. Now, I am doubling the value of y also. I am doubling the value of y also. So let us see. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and 24. So let us see. Exactly the same graph has been plotted as we have previously drawn. Okay. So what we have done? Actually, if we are changing a variable, so according to that variable, proportionate change occurs in the second variable. So proportionate change in the second variable. So the variables of the problem were a linear straight line. That is, a change in one variable produces proportionate changes in other variable. In other words, doubling the units of resources will double the profit. Problem solving based upon the system of linear equation. Okay. So if we will change in the one variable, so according to in that proportion the second variable will be also changed. And what is the structure of your linear equation? So let us see here. In the white figure you are seeing the structure of the linear programming. So here maximize z. Z is your objective function. Z is your objective function. And z equal to c1 x1 plus c2 x2 plus c3 x3 plus dot dot cn xn. The x1 x2 and x3, these are your decision variables. Okay, x1 x2 x3, these are your decision variables. And c1 c2 c3 are constants which are associated with your decision variables. And subject to the condition, or you can also say that these are also called subject to constants. So that are a11 x1 plus a12 x2 plus a13 x3 dot dot up to a1n and xn. Similarly, a21 x1 plus a22 x2 plus a23 x3 plus dot dot up to this. And in the last, you are looking the symbol that is less than or equal to. You are looking a sign that is less than or equal to, and a constant is given b1 b2 b1 b2 and dot dot up to in the last equation, that is bm. Okay, so this a1 a11 x1 plus a12 x2 plus a13 x3, these are the combination of your resources. These are the combination of your resources, and this less than equal to this inequality sign in b1, this inequality sign is your restriction. This is your restriction, means you cannot use your resources, that is a11 x1 plus a12 x2 more than b1 quantity. You cannot use resources more than b1 quantity. Similarly, if you are using other resources, so you cannot use more than b2 resources. Okay. And the value of b1 should not be negative, means the value of should not the value of bm should not be negative, means the value of b1 always either greater than or equal to 0, and the value of xj also always greater than equal to 0, means the value of xj should not be negative, means when you will find the value of x1 x2 x3, it should not be 0. The value of is always 0 or positive. Okay. So let us take an example to understand this linear programming clear. Okay. Suppose that you are running a wooden company and you are manufacturing furnitures. Okay. So a furniture manufacturer makes two products. A furniture manufacturer makes two products, that is x1 and x2. X1 and x2, namely chairs and tables. Here we are representing chair by x1 and table by x2 respectively. Okay. Now, each chair contributes a profit of rupees 20 and each table that of rupees 40. Means if you are selling a chair, then you will get the profit of rupees 20, and if you are selling one table, so you are getting the profit of rupees 40. Now, chairs and table from raw material to finished products are processed in three sections: S1, S2, and S3. Means when you are manufacturing chairs and tables, so it goes from the three processes, that is S1, S2, and S3. You can say either cutting, furnishing, decorating. These are the your processes. Okay. So the from raw material to finished products, it passes from the three processes. Okay, that is S1, S2, and S3. Now, in section S1 means in the process when first process is goes on, each chairs, that is X1, requires 1 hour and each table X2 requires 4 hours. Means in the first process, chair 1 takes 1 hour and chair table takes 4 hours. Okay, for processing. Now, in the section S2 means in the second process, each chair requires 3 hours and each table requires 1 hour. And in section 3 means in the last process, the time are 1 and 1 hour respectively. Means in the last process, chairs and tables all both take 1 hour. Okay, so these are the resources. These are the resources that you have to use. The manufacturer wants to optimize his profit. Actually, you have to also remember that if you are calculating profit, so you will always write maximize function. And if you are calculating cost or time, so you will always write minimize function. So here the manufacturer is optimizing his profits, so we will write maximize function. Okay. So manufacturer wants to optimize his profits if section S1, S2, and S3 can be availed for not more than 24, 21, and 8 hours respectively. Means in the first process, the chair takes 1 hour and table takes 4 hours. But the combination of both cannot take more than 24 hours. Okay. In the second process, chair takes 3 hours and table takes 1 hour. But the combination of both cannot take more than 21 hours. Similarly, in the third process, both take 1 hour, but both take 1 hour each, but both combination of both cannot take 8 more than 8 hours. Okay. So now this is your problem that you have to maximize the profit. So for this, what we will do, we will write a mathematical model for this problem. We will write a mathematical model for this problem. So how we will write? Let us see. Here, let us see, x1 is your chair and x2 is your table. Okay. Now you have to maximize the profit. So max z equal to, now chair contributes how much profit? Means 20. Chair contributes is 21. Okay. And table how much profit contributes? Rupees 40. So we will write down 40. So this is our maximize function. So let us see here. Our maximize function is this, that is z equal to rupees 20 x1 plus rupees 40 x2. This is our maximization function. Now, what are the subjective constants? In the first section, let us see in the first section. Okay, go to the first section. Chair takes 1 hour, means that x1 is your chair, so x1 take 1 hour, so I will write down 1 plus table takes 4 hours, so table is x2, So 4x2. Okay, but both of these, combination of both these cannot take more than 24 hours. So I have write down here, both of combination of both these cannot be take more than 24 hours. Similarly, in the second stage, chair takes 3 hours and table takes 1 hour, but the combination of both cannot take more than 21 hours. Okay, so let us see. Chair takes, means x1 takes how much hours? 3. So we will multiply 3 plus table takes 1 hour. So 1x2, but combination of both these cannot take more than 21 hours. Okay. Now, in the third process, both takes 1 hour each, but the combination of both cannot take more than 8 hours. So let us see. 1x1 plus 1x2, but it should not be more than 8. So these are the your subjective condition. Means these are the restrictions that you have to apply when you will manufacture the chair and table. Okay, so after using these relationships, you will find the value of x1 and x2, means how much chair and table you have to manufacture to maximize the profit. When you will find the value of x1 and x2 by using these relationships, you will put the value of x1 and x2 in the maximize function, that is z. So you will get your maximum profit. Now, what is the non-negativity constants? The non-negativity constant is x1 comma x2 always should be greater than equal to 0. X1 and x2 should be always greater than equal to, means this is applied in all the conditions. You have to write for all the condition this. Means this is called your non-negativity constants. Okay. So this is your linear programming. Actually, it has more contribution. The second unit is completely related to your linear programming. That's why we have discussed it in the detail. The next one is your transportation problem. Okay, transportation problems deals with transportation of a product. Means if you have to send the product from your factory to your warehouse, or either from warehouse to the dealer, or from the warehouse to market, so how you can reduce your transportation cost? So by using the transportation technique, we can minimize our transportation cost. So what are the factors involved in computing the transportation? So that is, from a number of sources, means there should be a number of source, and number of sources means the origins from where you have to send the products. The place from where you have to send the product is called your source or origin. Okay, and with limited supplies, means what quantity you have to supply. 100 kilogram, 10 kilogram, 100 in the unit in number, and 2000 in number. So you have limited supply. Okay, and to number of destination. Destination is the place where you have to send your product. Source is that place from where. Source is from where, and destination is to where. Okay, source is your from where and destination is to where. Okay, so suppose that you have to send your product to the market. Suppose that you have 3 factories and you have to send your product in the 3 market or your 3 warehouses or to the dealers. Okay, with specified demands. Now, the product that you will send according to the requirement of the dealer. The requirement should be according to the dealer that you will send to the your that you will send from the your warehouse or your factory. Okay, at the total transportation cost. Now, the main objective of transportation is to schedule shipment from sources to destination in such a way so as to minimize the total transportation cost. So by using transportation technique, you can reduce your transportation cost. And the next one is, this is an example. Suppose that an industrialist has three factories, one each at Bangalore, Bhopal, and Kanpur, and three dealers to sell his product as Delhi, Bombay, and Madras. Okay, so here D1, D2, and D3. These are the destination. Means these are the dealer, and FA, FB, and FC. These are the factories. Means Bangalore, Bhopal, and Kanpur. These are the factory. So, and the number that is given in this cell. These are the per unit transportation shipping cost. Per unit transportation shipping cost. Suppose that if you have to send your item, your product from FA to F2, FA to D2, means from factory Bangalore to Bombay. So per unit transportation cost is rupees 6. The per unit transportation simply cost is, that is rupees 6. And also the total capacity of the factory, that is in the last column, that is 10 units. The total capacity of the factory is 10 units. And similarly, the capacity of factory FB is 5 units. The capacity of factory FC is 7 units. And these are the demands. The demand of dealer 1 is 6. The demand of dealer D2 is 8. And the demand of dealer D3 is 8. Okay. So you have to send the product from your factory to the dealers. Okay. The cost of transporting an item from a factory to a dealer, along with the number of goods available at factories A, B, and C, and those required by dealer 1, 2, and 3 are shown in the matrix given below. Okay, so this is the table which represents the transportation cost for sending your product from factory to your dealer. Okay, this is called your transportation problem. The next one is assignment problem. It is a special type of linear programming. Actually, transportation and assignment both are the special type of linear programming. Just like transportation deals with your transportation cost, that's why similarly the assignment problem deals with allocating the various resources or items to various activities on the one-to-one basis in such a way that the time or cost involved in minimized and the sale or profit is maximized. For example, manager may like to know which job should be assigned to which person so that all jobs can be completed in the shortest possible time. Suppose that the manager have 6% and he have to completed 6 jobs. So which job have to assign which person to minimize the time? Okay, so we can solve this problem using assignment problem. The next one is Quang theory. Quang theory, this theory deals with the situation in which queue is formed. For example, suppose that if you are going for a railway reservation, you are going for railway reservation, so you have to make a queue. You have to make a queue. So customers waiting for services, machines waiting for repairments, and aircraft waiting for landing, strips, etc. So if the queue will be long, suppose that when you are going for the reservation and your queue is long, so your time will be high. Here, if in the organization the machine is in waiting line, so your cost will be high due to long waiting hour. Similarly, in the when you are going for the reservation, your time will be long. Similarly, in the organization, due to long waiting hour, the cost will be high. So this technique is used to analyze the feasibility of adding facilities. That means you can analyze how much facilities you can add to access the amount and cost of waiting time. So this calculation can then be used to determine the desirable number of services, that is facilities. Okay. The next one is sequencing. Sequencing, these models have been developed to find a sequence. Sequence means after which process you have to make another. These models have been developed to find a sequence for processing jobs so that the total elapsed time for all the jobs will be minimum. Okay, the model also helped to resolve the conflict between the objectives of maximizing machine utilization and complying with predetermined delivering rates. Means if you have only one machine, actually when you manufacture any product, so the product goes from the many processes. So you have to frame a sequence that after which steps the product will go to the next step. So by using this technique, you can maximize your machine utilization. You can maximize your machine utilization. Okay. The next one is integer programming. Integer means complete or whole. Actually, when you find the solution by linear programming, sometimes it happens that the value come in decimal or fraction part. So after using integer programming, you can convert your solution in integer. Okay, so integer means complete or whole number. By using the integer programming algorithm, a series of continuous linear programming problem are solved in such a way that the solution containing unacceptable, sometimes it could be in fractions. Suppose that you have got 3.7%. Okay, you have got 3.7%. So there is no possibility of 3.7%. So you can convert the 3.7 according to the your situation by using these programming. Okay. The next one is decision theory and game theory. So decision theory is mostly using for making decision under the different situations. Under the different situations, the decision theory is used to making a decision for a manager. And what are the different circumstances? That are risk, uncertainty, certainty, conflict. So these are the different factors which affects the decision of a manager. So how a manager can make a decision in the different situations. Okay, so with the help of decision theory, the manager can take easily decision. And game theory, this is also a decision making under the conflict. Means when you are going to launch a product against your competitors, when you are going to launch a product against your competitor strategies, so you can use the game theory to make a profit or make a better decision. Okay. Now replacement problem. Replacement problem is concerned with the replacement of your machinery or persons. Suppose that such as the government has the policy to replace the person after age of 60 years or 65 years. Okay, so similarly every machine has its own life. Okay, so after how much time that machine would be replaced. So by using the replacement techniques, you can know the time when you have to replace your machine. You can calculate the cost incurred in the installation. You can get you can calculate the profit that you have made from the machine, how much he can produce. So after using this technique, you can use, either you have to take new machine or not, either you have to repair that machine or not. Okay, so you can solve all these type of problem by using replacement problems. Symbolic logic. Symbolic logic, already I have told you, this is a mathematical techniques. Symbols are more meaningful and accurate. Everything is symbolic in this world. Means you have to use mathematical problems, that is symbols. Okay, to solve the problem. Such as if you are using inventory control techniques, then you can use the calculus, differential calculus, to solve your inventory control problems. Okay, so business problems are not commonly converted into symbols, but calculations are done on computers. That is why symbols have extensive applications. Okay. The next one is inventory control models. So inventory operations research study involves balancing inventory cost against one or more of the following costs. Suppose that shortage of cost, ordering cost, shortage cost, interest cost. So the inventory control models help in taking decision about that how much you have to purchase raw material. and when you have to purchase, and whether a manufacturer or to purchase or make and buy decision. Means the manufacturer can make a decision that he had to purchase a raw material, or he can buy, or he can make. Means he can make or he can buy. And the most well known use in the form of economic order quantity, EOQ. The most used inventory control model is EOQ. I think you have also studied in your 12th if you have from the commerce background. Okay, so EOQ model is used for finding the economic lot size, means how much inventory you have to maintain. Either it cannot be either increase or decrease. You have to maintain a proper balance. Now, network scheduling part and CPM. Network scheduling is a technique used for planning, scheduling, and monitoring large projects, such as if you are constructing a building, you are constructing a building for a plant. So you have to schedule and you have to a proper networking. Okay, you have to proper networking to you. Actually, all the activities involved in the construction of a building, you have to monitor carefully. So after which activity you have to do another activity. So you can reduce your time. You can reduce your time, and also you can reduce your cost also. Okay, so you have to make a logical sequence by deciding as to which activities should be performed simultaneously and which others sequentially. Okay, so in the large projects, when any organization runs or start large projects, so this technique is used to reducing the cost or reducing the time by making a logical sequence. Okay, so that is also called project evaluation review technique, or sometimes program evaluation review technique. And the CPM it stands for critical path method, that is which route will take, means what steps will take the long time. In the critical path method, you will calculate that what are the steps that will take long time to complete a project, so you can avoid that process. Okay, so these techniques are using for a logical sequence. And the next one is non-quantifiable factor. So the operations research provides solution only when all elements related to a problem be quantified. I have also told you about the in the features or characteristics of the operations research. Okay, actually the operations research does not inquire about the non-quantifiable factor. Quantifiable factors is it is only used for quantitative models. Okay, the factors which cannot be quantified find no place in operations research. Models in operations research do not take into account qualitative, means you cannot analyze the qualitative information from the operations research technique, such as emotional factors. Just like in the statistics, if you there is a beauty competition is going on, so you can make a decision that which competitor is going to win by using some asset, using rank correlation, rank correlation regression coefficient. But in the operations research, there is no any technique to find these type of outcomes. Okay, now in the last, without the improper implementation of any decision, you cannot make proper outcome. Okay, implementation of any decision is a delicate task. It must take into account the complexities of human relations and behavior. Sometimes resistance is offered due to psychological factors which may not have any bearing on the problem as well as its solution. Means suppose that a person which is working in your organization and he is not satisfied with some conditions, so his work efficiency can be affected. And if you calculate the work efficiency of that person by assignment problems, and he has some issues or emotional feelings, So you cannot calculate the proper efficiency of that person's. Okay, so without the proper implementation, you cannot make a decision properly. So implementation of any technique is based on the your decision maker or manager. The solution given by these techniques is different from the actual situation which really occurred in the organization. Okay, so this is all about your techniques of operations research. If someone has any query, so you can ask now.